Iblis, the sworn enemy of mankind, is a figure whose influence extends far beyond the realm of individual temptation. His actions and his progeny are integral to the ongoing battle between good and evil. While much is known about his role as the leader of darkness, questions about his personal life remain shrouded in mystery. Does Iblis have a family? How does his progeny contribute to his mission of misguidance? Today, we delve into the Islamic teachings to explore the truths and interpretations surrounding Iblis's lineage, shedding light on the lesser-known aspects of his existence. 1. The mystery of Iblis's family. Have you ever wondered whether Satan has a family of his own? If he has children, does that mean he also has a wife? The idea of Iblis having a family might sound strange, but it is a topic that has intrigued scholars and believers for centuries. While the Qur'an does not provide direct details about his family, various Islamic narrations and interpretations attempt to fill in the gaps. We all know that Iblis is a jinn, a creation of Allah made from smokeless fire. He was once a devoted worshipper, but was cast out due to his arrogance when he refused to bow to Adam. A.S. After his expulsion, he vowed to mislead humanity until the day of judgment. But does he work alone, or does he have offspring who assist him in his mission? Many scholars believe that Iblis has children who spread corruption and whisper evil into the hearts of humans. This belief is supported by a verse in the Qur'an. Will you then take him and his offspring as protectors besides me, while they are enemies to you? Surah Al-Kahf 1850. This verse suggests that Iblis does have progeny, but how they come into existence is a topic of debate. Some believe he has a wife, while others argue that he has the ability to reproduce without one. Islamic narrations vary, with some reports stating that Allah gave Iblis a partner, while others claim that he lays eggs or spawns demons directly. Regardless of the exact nature of his family, one thing is clear: Iblis and his descendants are dedicated to leading people astray. Understanding this can help us stay vigilant and protect ourselves from their influence. Number 2. The origin of Iblis. From worshipper to outcast. Before Iblis became the cursed enemy of mankind, he had a very different status. He was not always the figure of evil we know today. In fact, he was once a devoted worshipper of Allah, living among the angels. But how did he go from being a righteous servant to the greatest deceiver? Iblis was a jinn created from smokeless fire. Unlike angels, who were created from light and cannot disobey Allah, jinn have free will, just like humans. Iblis was so pious that he was elevated to a high rank, allowing him to be in the company of the angels. He worshipped Allah for thousands of years, and his devotion made him stand out among the jinn. However, his true nature was revealed when Allah created Adam a.s. Allah commanded the angels and Iblis to bow before Adam as a sign of respect, but Iblis refused. His arrogance took over, and he declared, "I am better than him. You created me from fire, and you created him from clay." Surah Al-Araf 7:12. This one act of pride and disobedience led to his downfall. Allah cast him out of his mercy, and from that moment, Iblis became the sworn enemy of mankind. Instead of repenting, he made a bold promise. "Because you have put me in error, I will surely sit and wait for them on your straight path." Surah Al-Araf 7:16. From that moment on, his mission became clear: to mislead humans and drag as many as possible away from the path of righteousness. His arrogance turned into hatred, and his desire for power transformed into a relentless effort to deceive. Understanding his origins helps us recognize his tricks and protect ourselves from his influence. Number 3. Does Iblis have a wife? Exploring Islamic narrations, one of the most mysterious questions surrounding Iblis is whether he has a wife. If he has children, then does that mean he also has a spouse? While the Qur'an does not explicitly mention a wife of Iblis, there are various Islamic narrations and scholarly interpretations that explore this idea. The Qur'an does confirm that Iblis has offspring. In Surah Al-Kahf, Allah warns, "Will you then take him and his offspring as protectors besides me, while they are enemies to you?" Surah Al-Kahf 1850. This verse tells us that Iblis has descendants, but it does not explain how they came into existence. Some scholars have suggested that, like humans and animals, Iblis must have a wife through whom his children are born. One such interpretation comes from Ibn Kathir, who mentions in his book Qisas al-Anbiya, Stories of the Prophets, that there is a report stating that Allah created a female jinn for Iblis, and through her, his progeny were produced. However, this is not a universally accepted belief, as it lacks strong evidence from authentic hadiths. Other scholars argue that Iblis does not need a wife to reproduce. Some narrations suggest that he has a unique ability given by Allah that allows him to multiply without a spouse. Some even claim that he lays eggs, while others believe that he spawns new devils directly from himself. These ideas are based on interpretations rather than definitive Islamic texts. While the exact truth remains unknown, what is clear is that Iblis has a family, whether through a wife or another means, and his descendants continue his mission of spreading evil and deception among mankind. Number 4. How does Iblis reproduce? Theories and interpretations. One of the most puzzling questions about Iblis is how he reproduces. If he has offspring, as mentioned in the Qur'an, then how exactly are they born? Unlike humans and animals, jinn are a different type of creation, and their method of reproduction is not clearly detailed in Islamic texts. However, scholars and narrations provide various theories on how Iblis produces his descendants. One interpretation suggests that Iblis has a wife, as some narrations claim Allah created a female jinn for him. According to this view, Iblis and his partner would reproduce in a manner similar to other jinn, as jinn are known to have families and offspring. However, there is no strong evidence from the Qur'an or authentic hadith to confirm this. Another theory is that Iblis reproduces without a spouse. Some scholars believe that he has been given a special ability by Allah to create offspring independently. A well-known statement attributed to scholars like Mujahid, a famous early commentator of the Qur'an, suggests that Iblis lays eggs, from which devils emerge. This idea aligns with the belief that Iblis can rapidly produce a large number of offspring to assist him in his mission of spreading evil. A more symbolic interpretation suggests that Iblis's offspring are not physical beings, but rather his followers, both jinn and humans, who spread his influence. In this sense, every person who follows the path of Shaitan could be considered part of his progeny in a metaphorical way. While the exact method remains unknown, what we do know is that Iblis has countless followers working to deceive and mislead humanity. This is why we must always seek refuge in Allah and protect ourselves from His influence. Number 5. The number of Satan's offspring. Myth or reality? Some claim that Iblis gives birth to thousands of devils every day, and this has become a popular belief in some circles. But is this true? When we examine Islamic texts carefully, we find that there is no direct, authentic hadith or Quranic verse that specifies an exact number of Iblis offspring. What we do know, however, is that Iblis' primary mission is to mislead mankind, and this task requires a vast army of followers. In several Islamic teachings, Iblis is seen as the leader of evil, orchestrating the corruption of the world and guiding his progeny to mislead human beings. His offspring, also referred to as devils or shayatin, are believed to have a significant role in this mission, spreading mischief and encouraging individuals to commit sins. They are constantly at work, trying to lead people away from the path of righteousness and into error. The notion that Iblis has a massive number of offspring stems from this very idea. The need for a powerful network of devils to aid him in his goal of causing chaos. Some scholars and commentators have speculated that Iblis's progeny are responsible for whispering evil thoughts into the hearts of human beings, influencing them toward desires, pride, and disobedience to Allah. This interpretation aligns with the Quranic verse from Surah Al-Kahf, 1850, which mentions Iblis and his offspring as enemies to mankind, urging people not to take them as protectors. Although we may never know an exact figure or whether Iblis's offspring truly number in the thousands each day, what remains clear is that their role is to spread evil across the earth. It's a constant battle, one that is far more than just a matter of numbers. It's about the influence they wield over the hearts and minds of individuals. This underlines the importance of vigilance in our faith and the need for protection through reliance on Allah. Number 6. The role of Iblis's children. Spreading evil and deception. Iblis' children, often referred to as devils or shayateen, are believed to play an active and crucial role in spreading evil and deception throughout the world. Each of them has specific duties, all designed with one goal in mind: to lead humanity astray from the righteous path. The influence of these offspring is pervasive, affecting individuals in various ways, from subtle whispers to more overt temptations. While Iblis himself is the chief deceiver, his children work tirelessly to assist him in his mission. One of the most significant roles of Iblis's children is whispering evil thoughts into the hearts of human beings. This concept, known in Islamic teachings as waswasa, involves prompting individuals to entertain sinful desires, doubts, and negative emotions. These whispers can lead people to pride, greed, envy, and other harmful feelings. By sowing discord within the hearts of people, Iblis's children encourage actions that deviate from the teachings of Islam. This is why it's so important for Muslims to remain vigilant in guarding their hearts and minds, seeking refuge in Allah from these harmful influences. Some of Iblis's children are said to specialize in encouraging specific major sins. For example, some devils whisper to people, pushing them towards the sin of theft, while others may incite murder or even disbelief. The devils work in subtle ways, often encouraging small, seemingly harmless sins that, over time, can lead a person further away from Allah. Their ultimate goal is to weaken faith and to distance individuals from the remembrance of Allah. However, Not all of Iblis' offspring work in the same way. Some are specifically tasked with influencing entire communities, breaking down social structures such as families and relationships. These devils target the foundations of societal harmony, aiming to create divisions and conflicts, leading people away from peace and unity. Despite their efforts, Allah has provided us with the tools to protect ourselves from the whispers and influence of Iblis and his children. By turning to Allah in prayer, seeking refuge through Quranic verses, and remaining steadfast in our faith, we can shield ourselves from their deceitful tactics. Number 7. Notable Satanic offspring. Names and functions in Islamic beliefs. In Islamic teachings, Iblis's children are not merely faceless minions. They are often identified by specific names and are believed to have distinct roles in spreading evil. While these names are not explicitly mentioned in the Qur'an, Islamic narrations and scholarly interpretations have provided insights into who some of these offspring are and what their functions are. Each of these devils is assigned a particular task, contributing to Iblis's overarching goal of leading humanity away from righteousness. One of the most notable names among Iblis's children is Dasim, who is specifically known for causing discord and division within families. His role is to create conflict between spouses, leading to arguments, misunderstandings, and even divorce. Dasim's influence is subtle but devastating, as the breakdown of family units weakens the social fabric and leads individuals further into distress and despair. His presence is often felt in moments of emotional turmoil, where small disagreements can spiral into larger, destructive conflicts. Another well-known offspring is Awar, whose task is to encourage people to commit immoral acts, particularly adultery. Awar's influence targets the hearts and minds of individuals, inciting lust and desire that go against the teachings of Islam. His work is often reflected in the normalization of zina, fornication, or adultery within society, where societal standards are lowered and people become desensitized to the importance of chastity and modesty. In addition to these, there are other lesser-known offspring of Iblis who are said to have different areas of influence. Some are responsible for encouraging theft, while others promote deceit, greed, or even disbelief in Allah. These devils are highly strategic in their approach, often working through the weaknesses and vulnerabilities of individuals to lead them astray. While these names and roles are mentioned in various Islamic texts and narrations, they serve as a reminder of the constant battle between good and evil. Muslims are urged to remain vigilant, recognizing the many forms that temptation can take, and seeking refuge in Allah to protect themselves from the whispers and influence of Iblis and his offspring. Number 8. The influence of Iblis' descendants on mankind. The children of Iblis, like their father, are tireless in their efforts to lead humanity astray. Their influence is vast and insidious, manifesting in a variety of ways, from the subtle whispers that cloud our thoughts to the powerful temptations that challenge our faith. While Iblis himself is the leader of this army of evil, his descendants work through different means, each focusing on a specific aspect of human weakness to sow corruption. Understanding the scope of their influence helps us recognize the importance of protecting ourselves against their deceit. One of the primary methods used by Iblis's children is through waswasa, the whispering of evil thoughts into the hearts of human beings. These whispers often appear as fleeting doubts, negative self-talk, or sinful desires. For example, a person may feel an impulse toward pride, anger, or greed without realizing that it is being subtly nudged by a devil whispering into their mind. This is why maintaining a strong connection with Allah and constantly seeking His protection is so vital, as it helps shield us from such internal turmoil. Iblis's descendants also play a significant role in leading people into acts of disobedience and sin. They create temptations that entice individuals to give in to desires that contradict Islamic teachings. Whether it's the urge to commit adultery, steal, or indulge in harmful substances, these devils work tirelessly to make sin appear alluring. This is especially true when a person's faith is weak, or when they are faced with difficult situations, making them more susceptible to temptation. Moreover, the children of Iblis are not just concerned with individual actions. They also work to destabilize communities and societies as a whole. They incite division and discord, spreading hatred and animosity between people. Their influence can be seen in the breakdown of social bonds, whether in families, friendships, or even between entire nations. This is why Islam places great emphasis on unity, peace, and brotherhood, as these are values that directly oppose the work of Iblis and his offspring. Despite the widespread influence of Iblis's children, Allah has provided Muslims with tools for protection. Through regular prayer, seeking refuge in Allah from Shaitan, and reciting protective verses from the Qur'an, we can fortify ourselves against the attacks of these devils. By remaining steadfast in our faith and constantly seeking the help of Allah, we can resist the temptations and deceptions of Iblis and his descendants. Number 9. Protection against Iblis and his progeny. The children of Iblis are constantly at work, whispering evil thoughts and leading humanity astray. With their influence so pervasive, it is crucial for Muslims to take proactive steps to protect themselves from their deceitful tactics. Fortunately, Allah has provided clear guidance and tools to shield ourselves from the temptations and mischief of Iblis and his offspring. By following these protective measures, we can fortify our hearts and minds against the whispers of Shaitan and remain steadfast on the path of righteousness. One of the most powerful forms of protection is the regular recitation of Ayat-ul-Kursi, Surah Al-Baqarah 255. This verse is considered a powerful safeguard against the influence of Shaitan. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, has said that anyone who recites this verse after every obligatory prayer will be under the protection of Allah, and no devil will be able to harm them until the next prayer. Ayat-ul-Kursi is a reminder of Allah's supreme power and sovereignty, and reciting it regularly strengthens a person's connection to Allah and keeps the devils at bay. Another crucial step in seeking protection is by reciting the supplication, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan irrajim. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed devil. Whenever we feel the presence of negative thoughts or distractions, this simple yet effective phrase serves as a direct plea for Allah's protection against the whispers and enticements of Shaitan. It reminds us to constantly turn to Allah for refuge, particularly when we feel weak or vulnerable to temptation. Additionally, Surah Al-Falaq and Surah An-Nas, known as the two protection surahs, are powerful verses that guard us from the evil of both external forces and the inner whispers of Shaitan. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, recommended reciting these surahs at least twice daily to seek Allah's protection from harm, envy, and evil influence. Finally, maintaining a pure heart and staying connected to Allah through consistent prayer and remembrance, dhikr, plays a crucial role in safeguarding ourselves. A heart filled with faith, gratitude, and reliance on Allah is less susceptible to the misguidance of Iblis and his children. By staying grounded in faith, seeking Allah's mercy, and remaining vigilant in our worship, we can ensure that we are shielded from the harm of Shaitan and his progeny. Through these spiritual practices and protective measures, Muslims can safeguard their hearts, minds, and actions, strengthening their ability to resist the relentless attempts of Iblis and his children to lead them astray. As we conclude our exploration into the mysterious family of Iblis, it's important to separate the facts from the myths surrounding his existence and the actions of his offspring. The Qur'an and authentic hadith provide us with clear guidance about Iblis, his role as the sworn enemy of mankind, and his mission to mislead human beings. However, many of the details surrounding his family, such as whether he has a wife or the exact number of children he fathers daily, are not definitively outlined in Islamic texts. These elements, while intriguing, often stem more from folklore or unverified interpretations than from established religious teachings. In reality, while there is some scholarly discussion about the possibility of Iblis having a wife and offspring, the core teachings of Islam do not place a significant emphasis on these aspects. The focus remains on Iblis's role as the leader of evil and the importance of guarding ourselves against his whispers and temptations. The mention of his progeny in Islamic literature serves to highlight the depth of the battle between good and evil and the continuous struggle Muslims face in maintaining their faith in a world full of distractions and deceptions. Ultimately, what we do know for certain is that Iblis and his offspring work relentlessly to mislead humanity. They are the source of whispers and temptations that attempt to lead us away from Allah's guidance. However, Allah has provided us with clear instructions on how to protect ourselves from these evil forces. By seeking refuge in Allah, staying connected to Him through regular prayer, and reciting protective verses from the Qur'an, we can defend ourselves from the deceptions of Iblis and his children. The best way to combat the influence of Iblis and his offspring is through knowledge, vigilance, and strong faith in Allah. As we continue to seek His protection, may Allah guide us to righteousness, shield us from the whispers of Shaitan, and keep us steadfast on the straight path. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Islamic content. Jazakum Allahu khairan.